This is the third out of 4 videos regarding PTSD and my car accident and using the white to build a car. Now, PTSD is a very twisty companion. I've kind of already finished it without even realizing it. And that is the positive that anybody can grab from having PTSD. On the floor here, you see a few things. The other day I made this chalk drawing board with the white. So the white did build the car, but I didn't realize it at the time. And that's the way your thinking goes. You go ahead and you do things, and you don't realize that you're solving a problem, that you're working ahead of yourself. But anyway, this morning I got up and I was going to finish the bedroll, put the sides on the car, with a whole other set of fabrics and everything than you see here. And as I was doing that, I realized that the vest pattern that you see on the floor here was the PTSD. So in other words, I was going to all this trouble to build a life-size car, and in my case, I've been diagnosed with lifelong PTSD. It's not going to get any better. It's more of a brain injury and brain damage, and I'm going to live with it. Well, I made that vest last week sometime, and I just have to write up the pattern to put the pattern in my store, and that's what I thought my motivation was. And it wasn't until today when I'm laying out all the other fabrics, the other bear, all the other things, when I went, wait a minute, I've already done this. The white made the car, which is the chalk drawing board. This blue and white knitted panel that I've held onto is actually the windshield. That is my son's bedroll. And this is what I wanted to say. You can use family. My son's not here right now, but that's his bedroll. So whether he understands as a person or not about PTSD doesn't really matter, because I know that he would understand if he could. So I can use him safely as a stand-in for the car that hit my car. So that is my son's bedroll that I actually have to iron it. I have to add his blankie to it. But once I have that complete, I can safely use that to stand in for the sob that took the front of my car off. Over here is a Cadillac. Now this is Princess Dementia, and she's an upcoming pattern. She's a loom knit bear that I made because I wanted to see what loom knit bears come out like when I was writing my own double point knitting pattern bear. So anyway, little by little I had to correct, like I wouldn't have written the pattern the way that the pattern was written that I used. I gave her mittens, I gave her socks, hat, shawl. It's turned into being, it's going to be a pattern because it's really for the elderly to remind them, don't forget your shawl, don't forget to wash your hands, wear your slippers. But anyway, I'm calling her Princess Dementia or Pajama Bear. And so she's sitting in the Cadillac, and the Cadillac was turning in this way, would have hit my car because whoever was driving it wasn't making the turn right. So I had to move my car about 4 inches to get away from the Cadillac, and in the meantime the Saab had floored it to pass the Cadillac and took the front end of my car off, which the Saab was completely in error. She was going 55 or 60 in a 35-mile-an-hour zone, and I had only moved like 4 inches. So she was actually passing the Cadillac and then coming over into the right lane at the same time. And the hood of my car ended up a mile away. So it was a very bad accident. But the positives here are, you can use your family, even when they don't know it, as stand-ins. Because if my son were here to work this out with me, he would be playing the bad guy because he's safe. This is a wonderful little bear that is a positive for people, and she can drive the Cadillac because they probably didn't mean to cause the whole thing. And she's also an upcoming pattern, so I can get past it. I can move on to the next thing by developing her, and that becomes her Cadillac. So anyway, the most important thing is that I made the vest last week, and because I've also made 2 other patterns, a bed jacket and a shoulder shawl, because I wear the PTSD. And I've done it before, but I can't do it anymore. Crochet is symbolic because this is a great way to store your yarn. And what I've done before is make a crochet panel knowing I can rip it out really fast, and it's a flat way to store a lot of yarn. And yet I can't do that with this one. This is the PTSD. And the reason I'm making this video, the last video is going to be the hair on the bigger bear. So here I wanted it all life-size so I could back up from it and talk about it, but I find out I wear it. Which is sad in some ways, but it's positive in a lot of ways because this is fun, this is fun, this is safe, this is fun. I mean, this is almost, and now what I can do is draw all over. I can take this vest, I can put it on if I feel like it, I don't have to, but I can draw the whole thing in here and then wipe it away. And use chalk to, usually I'm using chalk as life is fragile. Use chalk to make it conquerable or controllable. So again, with PTSD and chalk and life is fragile and being able to wipe it away and say, but you know what, I've conquered this. So even in my case where it's lifelong, I don't have to look at it every second. I don't have to wear it. I have other vests I can wear. I have other bears. I have other bedrolls. I don't have to live every second of it. I just have to acknowledge it. So the 4th video is going to be making a wig for a bear or a stuffed doll or any kind of figure like that, because I think it's very easy to make a yarn wig, and I think that's worth making the video. But already this is a positive because my life-size bear, which is almost as big as I am, and she's wearing the clothes I had on that day, has shrunk. The PTSD has already shrunk. This bear is only 20 inches tall, and she's in somebody else's car. So I'm already looking at it objectively. So the last video will be making a purple wig for a bear.